If you're moving to Bellingham with around an $850,000 budget, here's the truth. You can absolutely buy a great home here, but if you choose the wrong neighborhood, you can end up loving the house and regretting your lifestyle. And that's one of the biggest mistakes I see people make when they relocate here. Most people come in thinking, I've got $850,000, just show me the best houses in Bellingham. But what they should really be asking is, what part of Bellingham actually fits how I want to live? In this video, I'm breaking down 3 neighborhoods I would seriously look at this price point, which is Columbia, Puget, and one that people don't really think about, which is the Whatcom Falls neighborhood. And more importantly, I'm going to tell you and help you understand who each one is actually for, the trade-offs that come with them, and how to decide which one fits your life best. So for those of you that are new here, my name is Aldo. I'm a local real estate agent here in Bellingham with the Levain real estate team in Windermere, and I've helped a lot of people relocate to the area. And one of the things I've learned is that buyers don't usually struggle with whether they like a house. They struggle with whether the area actually fits the lifestyle they think they're gonna move here for. So let's get right into it and let's talk. The first neighborhood is the Columbia neighborhood. I made a video about this neighborhood specifically, so I'll link it up here. So if you have any more questions or you wanna go more thoroughly about this neighborhood, go check out this video. And this is the very first neighborhood that I moved to when I was a kid, when we first moved to Bellingham, when I relocated here from California, and is definitely one of my favorite neighborhoods. Now, what I love about Columbia, it is what most people picture when they think about living here in Bellingham. You've got tree-lined streets, older homes, tons of character, and a really strong neighborhood feel. You're super close to Elizabeth Park, to downtown. You have one of the best elementary schools here in the Columbia Elementary School, in the more and most walkable areas in the city. And this is where people come and go, okay, this is what I had in mind. Around $850,000, you can get into this neighborhood, but the trade-offs are usually not getting a big brand new house like you might find in some other areas. A lot of these houses were built in the early 1900s, so you're gonna see a lot smaller square footages, older layouts, and sometimes things just aren't as updated as newer construction homes. Again, these were built in 1900s. And I think that this is where people have to shift their mindset, especially in this neighborhood. So in Columbia, you're not always buying the most house. You're really buying the location and the lifestyle around it. You're buying walkability, character, and neighborhood that people genuinely want to be in. And Columbia could be arguably the most sought after neighborhood here in Bellingham, besides maybe South Hill neighborhood. Now in the Columbia neighborhood, you will find an average around $750,000 or so. You can get some a little bit less or even up to that $850,000 range. Now here's what you have to remember in this neighborhood. Yes, they are older homes, but they're really going to be smaller homes. You can get anywhere from 1,000 square feet, maybe to 1,600 square feet, 3 bedrooms, 1 bath possibly, 1.5, 2 if they're a little bit more remodeled. So again, they're gonna be a lot smaller homes. And obviously you're gonna have the reality of older homes. You may be dealing with older systems, tighter layouts, maybe smaller bedrooms, less storage, and things like plumbing, electrical, sometimes even foundation issues that you want to pay attention to. So if your priority is brand new, open concept, low maintenance, this probably isn't your best spot. But if you want charm, walkability, and the classic Bellingham feel, Columbia is one of the strongest options in the city, and this is the neighborhood people fall in love with over and over again and specifically choose. Homes in this neighborhood rarely go on the market, and if they do, they are getting multiple offers and homes are selling for over asking price. It's definitely one of the most competitive neighborhoods that we have here in Bellingham, so just keep that in mind. But charm, character, Columbia, and walkability, close to a lot of things, this is a neighborhood for you guys. Now, if you're watching this and thinking, I like that, but I need a little bit more space or something that just works a little bit better day to day, then this neighborhood is where a lot of buyers start to lean towards too. The second neighborhood, this is going to be the Puget neighborhood. And Puget is one of the most underrated neighborhoods in Bellingham, in my opinion, and it doesn't always get the same attention as some of the more well-known areas like the Barclays and the South Hill neighborhoods. For a lot of buyers, it ends up being a really smart choice, and this neighborhood really started blowing up during COVID because you get some amazing views in all of the Puget area. So if Columbia's charm and personality, Puget is a little bit more functional and a lot more convenient. It's certainly located in probably one of the best locations here in Bellingham. Makes getting around really easy. You're not stuck on one side of the town, and you've got pretty quick access to downtown, Lakeway, Barkley, the freeway, Fairhaven. There's so many places you can access really, really quickly and really easily. And around $850,000, this is where you often start to see a little bit more practicality. The layouts tend to make more sense for everyday living. You get more space, better flow, and just a home that feels easier to live in on a daily basis. Now for Puget, the walkability isn't as great as you will find in Columbia. Some may argue that it could be better because there are a lot more trails associated to the Puget neighborhood, but you will find that Puget does sit on a hill, hence that's where you're getting a lot of the views of Bellingham Bay. So in the Puget neighborhood, when you are walking through the streets, you will be seeing yourself having an incline sort of walk. It does have sidewalks, but a lot of these houses you're gonna find somewhere anywhere between 2,000 square feet, maybe all the way up to 3,500 square feet. Of course, some of the ones that are smaller could be more around the $800,000. Some of the larger ones you can find going upwards into that $900,000, $950,000 range. Of course, if they're really dialed in, these ones, some of them can surpass that $1 million range for sure. But on average, you're looking at about $850,000 to $900,000 average sold price in the Puget neighborhood. Now the views are incredible. There's gonna be trails that will connect to other trails. Again, the location here is incredible. And what you're gonna find here, a lot of them are gonna be not as old, but you're gonna find somewhere in the mid 90s, early 2000s. Some of them will have steep driveways just because, again, they're on a hill. Of course, that view will be killer. And you will have somewhat more of a split level sort of homes in that neighborhood. So they're not gonna just be completely one level, some of them may be, but the homes here definitely are really nice. Some of them tend to still have some character and that charm. Some of them you will see a lot more that will be remodeled. There's definitely a variety of homes in the Puget neighborhood that you will like, and it's gonna be bigger. So if you want more space, you have kids, and you want a backyard, this is definitely gonna be an area that you wanna look in. Now, Puget definitely tends to attract people that want more balance. They wanna be in Bellingham, they want a good location, they want something that works well without necessarily needing all the charm and all the character of an older home. Again, there's some people that don't want a 120-year-old home, and Puget definitely delivers that. Now, the downside could be that they may not give you that immediate emotional reaction. It's not always the neighborhood that people dream about before they move here. It may have the same identity as Columbia, but it definitely has the different variety. And a lot of people move here for the location. But sometimes the best neighborhood for you is not the one that looks the best in your head, it's the one that actually works once you're living in it. And that's where Puget really shines. It's practical, it's central, and for a lot of people, it ends up being the most livable option out of the three that we're talking about today. And if you're trying to figure out which one of these neighborhoods are the right fit for you, drop a comment down below or reach out to me. I have this exact conversation with people on a weekly basis, so we can always strategize and help you guys out and figure out which right neighborhood is right for you, whether it's these three or another sort of neighborhood here in Bellingham. Now, if you're watching this and thinking, I don't really care about being close to everything, I just want space, I want privacy, and something that feels more like the Pacific Northwest, then the next one might be the one that stands out the most for you, because people move here to Bellingham to feel like they're in the outdoors, to feel like they're surrounded by trees. And the third neighborhood here that we're talking about is the Whatcom Falls neighborhood. And this is where I think a lot of people miss out on Whatcom Falls because it's definitely a sleeper neighborhood. The area is much more about space, trees, and a quieter environment. You're near Whatcom Falls Park, which is huge. Walking is amazing, which is one of the most beautiful parts of Bellingham. And that really shapes the feel of this neighborhood because it intertwines with the Whatcom Falls Park. It definitely feels more tucked away, more peaceful, more connected to nature, and a lot of buyers, especially those coming from busier cities, this is exactly what they're looking for. And if you want to be outdoors, regardless if you're a millennial or not, if you want to be outside, this is a perfect neighborhood for you. And at around $850,000, you may get more breathing room, maybe a larger lot, more privacy, or just a home that feels less packed and compared to other parts of town. Now, the type of home that you'll find here in the Whatcom Falls neighborhood are gonna be a lot of single level homes, 1,600 square feet, maybe 1,800, could be bigger. Now, you are paying a premium in this neighborhood because it is right where Whatcom Falls Park is, and you're literally minutes of a bike ride away from Galbraith Mountain. You're really close from U Street, which also is a huge area that mountain bikers love. People will pay a premium because they can hop on their bike, get to the trails, go to Galbraith, go on hikes, do a lot of things outside, and this is definitely a really desirable neighborhood, but it is also a sleeper neighborhood that not everybody looks into because they always look maybe in the U Street neighborhood compared to the Whatcom Falls neighborhood. So remember, this is really where Bellingham really starts to feel like the Pacific Northwest. But again, there are trade-offs. You're giving up some walkability in the streets, you have the parks, you're kind of on Lakeway, so it's a really busy area. You're probably driving more, you're not really just stepping outside and going to get coffee or you're going to get groceries. You do have a little bit of a drive. Again, Bellingham is pretty close to everything, so it's not like you are in Columbia. You're gonna have a lot more nature to walk in compared to being a neighborhood where you do situated on a busier street. So playing outside, bikes, kids like stuff may not be as easy as the Columbia neighborhood, but still really good. And for some people, that's perfect. For others, once the initial excitement wears off, they realize they miss being a little closer to things, which in reality, you're pretty close to everything anyways. Now, this is why I keep saying you're not buying a house, you're choosing how your day-to-day life really feels like. And if you have kids, you have pets, you don't have any of that, you like riding your bike, you like walking, this is where it's really, really important on finding the right neighborhood. So at $850,000 in Bellingham, there isn't just one best neighborhood, there's just the best neighborhood for you and what your lifestyle is like. Columbia is for the person who wants charm, walkability, and that classic Bellingham identity. Puget is for the buyer who wants something practical, central, and easy to live in. Whatcom Falls is for someone who wants space, they want privacy, and a lot more nature-driven lifestyle. And all three neighborhoods are great choices, but they are not interchangeable. And that's the part that most people miss. So if you're thinking about moving here to Bellingham or anywhere in Whatcom County, and you're trying to figure out which area actually fits for you, whether that's Bellingham or another city here in Whatcom County, my info is down below. You can call me, you can text me, email me, whatever works for you. I'd be happy to help walk you through it. And if this video helped you at all, let me know in the comments down below. I can definitely do more videos at different price points or different types of buyers. So again, guys, my name is Aldo. I'm with the Levain real estate team with Windermere here in Bellingham and Whatcom County. I hope you enjoyed this video. Let me know what you want to see more of. And again, we'll see you next time.